Hello everyone, it's Pat at Beads and Plenty More, and today we're going to make these earrings like this. I nicknamed it the Eye of the Storm, but this weave is actually called herringbone weave. So let's get started. We're going to use 18 gauge wire, a heavy wire. You could use a 20 will work too, but I like to use a heavy one because it does hold a little bit better. Cut off a piece, and again, you don't need to measure for this. It can be just as long as it's plenty long enough. Start by putting the top loop into this so that our work doesn't slip when we're working with the finer wire, and center that loop up nice like that, like an eye pin. Then I'm going to take 26 gauge wire and take a good length of that, about 2 feet maybe, and cut it off. And I'm using 8mm rondelles. Again, you can use almost any bead for this. It works very well with a lot of different sizes. So I give a little gap there. Give myself a tail so that I've got something to hold on to. Give this a good turn around like that. And then I'm going to pass over this bead. And I always want to go to the front of the core wire. So go around the front, and then I'm going to go down the side of the bead on this side. And I like to just give that wire a little tuck right at the area that I'm going to go over the core wire. And go again, it has to be on the front. Go on the front of your core wire. Do a circle around. And at this point I can cut this tail off. I'm going to give it a tug to make sure it's nice and tight. Get my 2 sides there and clip that away. Okay, so now as we're going down to the other side of the bead, I'm going to go to the back of the first one. Not the front, but the back. And then when I come down here, I want to be on the front of the core wire. So go around, give it a little pinch to make sure it's nice and tight. Then we go on the back side of this wire. Just allow a little bit more space there. This slides, so you don't need to worry that you're getting it exactly right. I always give that little pinch there over top of the core wire and around. Again, down the back. This will be our 3rd wrap. I usually do about 6 with this size bead. It could vary depending on the size of your bead. Around to the front side, get that nice and snug. Okay, so this is my 3rd wrap on this side. Go over and give it a little pinch there. Go across the front. Always remember the front of the core wire, but the back side when you're putting your line down the side of the bead. So I've got 3, this is 4, and this will be completing the 4th because I started at the top. So that's completing the 4th. Now we're going to do the 5th. Go through and across the top and around, and then down. So I now have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is completing the 5th. 2, 4, yeah. So I'm going to do 6. So I'll go back up to the top and back to the bottom. And that would make 6. So we're going to go up to the top here. Again, give that little pinch to make sure that sits in nice. And I started at the top, so I want to finish at the bottom, so I have this same number of wraps on each side. And again, across the front here, and I'm going to do an extra wrap, of course, to end the wire. There we are. So we'll cut away that excess wire and just press it in a little bit. There we are. So this is sitting at the top nicely. So I'm going to cut away my excess here because I don't need that much for a loop. And then I'm going to make a loop out of this leftover wire. So a tiny little loop is fine. And when I used lever back for these because I thought that just seemed to work really well. So we'll just hook the lever back on, loosen that up. Make sure it's going the right direction. It'll be this way because we want this is, oh, pardon me, it was right first. This is the front, and the part that comes up to the back is the back part. Comes to the back of the ear. Tighten that little circle in. And then what I did on the bottom here, I used the head pins that have the little ball on them to make a nice little fancy end on my bead. I used a kind of a torpedo shaped bead with circles on both sides, and put that in like that, and just bend that over. And I used the leftover to make sure I got them all the right size. Line up like so, and cut that off, because that's my excess. And I think I might have got that too much there, so we'll cut that back a little bit more. I don't need that much to make a circle. So we'll give a turn with the pliers to get a nice circle with this head pin. Center it up, and that's going to hook into the bottom of my little piece here. There, that's all there is to it. So we'll call those the Eye of the Storm beads. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.